morning. Hope you had a beautiful morning. Maybe your coffee was particularly yummy today. It's going to be a gorgeous day today as we're approaching the end of the week. Can you believe we're on week 22? Today's reading originally was about upward facing dog, also known as Urdhva Mukta Savasana. But I don't want to do that one. We do talk about it often. We don't analyze it, but this one I liked better. Forgiveness benefits you. How can you forgive when you feel wronged? It is helpful to begin by recognizing that holding on to anger and resentment may damage you more than it does to anyone else. Think of the ways to which your feelings often manifest in your body. A clenched jaw, tight muscles, upset stomach, maybe higher blood pressure, and the overall wear and tear of tension and stress. Forgiveness is tough, and especially if you feel wronged or slighted. But the process of recognizing when anger and resentment rise up inside of you, noticing how detrimental the effects of these emotions are within you, and then consciously releasing those emotions again and again is your key to well-being. There's that word release, and you could also look at it as surrender. Choosing to forgive releases damaging feelings and affirms your dedication to your own self-care. So I have seen this meme before. Forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself. In this way, the act of forgiveness is an embrace of yourself, an assertion that your current state of well-being is more of a priority than a challenging past event. Forgiveness benefits you, and forgiveness heals. And I'm sending this out to all of my friends who are watching, who probably have at least one family member in their lives that there's a story about why they're not actively seeing them or engaging with them. I hear this over and over and over. And guess when the healing usually happens is at a funeral. And I don't want it to have to come to that. When I met my husband, he calmly said he hadn't spoken to his only sister in like 10 years. And that was an accepted thing. And it all had to do with some miscommunication with his ex-wife and blah, blah, blah. And then without fail, a funeral in their lives brought them back together, and they had a chance to two things: either let the swords go, put the weapons down and just pretend it never happened, or have a talk and then have a laugh. How ridiculous, maybe unless a crime has been committed, how ridiculous that you're preventing your fully actualized life and love and family unit from happening, which actually affects all of the family, your kids, everybody else, just because of a misunderstanding or something that happened. It's over. Let it go, move on, and think about how much richer your lives would be if you didn't have to constantly censor who can attend and who cannot. So today I wanted to focus on side planks. We have been doing things that open the chest, working on upper body strength. So we'll visit dolphin, we'll do some regular planks. Something I need to work on is staying a little longer in a side plank when it feels precarious or like that whole pose is going to fall over. So we talk about stacked bones. That's exactly what side plank success comes from. Stacked bones, core stability, breath, calm. And in a way, it's actually the perfect balance pose because it's not just about standing on one leg. You're needing to balance all the physical pieces and the mental pieces for it to be successful. Let's start lying down. We'll do a bit of floor work, and then we'll do our sun salutations. I will bring the plank back in, my least favorite pose, and then we'll focus on our side planks. So get comfortable. You're going to come onto your mat one vertebrae at a time, finding a way to relax in a simple position where the bones are also in a special position. So I'm going to bring bum close to my heels and lower down. Arms wide, palms turned up. Maybe you lift your bum up and down a couple times. And then exhale it down. Laying that spine down with purpose. Feet pressed down, hips can rise. And then slowly lay the spine back down again. And you can do this with engaged glutes or not. Lift the belly up. I feel like when you're lofting a blanket to make a bed and it gently lies down smoothly. That's the same action I'm using with my body. Inhale, belly up, hips rise, and slowly layer down that spine and lower back. And then gently a little rocking side to side. It's not a full windshield wiper yet. I don't want you to walk wide. I want it to be a feeling of the lower back and the floor together. Arms are wide and heavy. I'm fortunate this room is very cool. And And if Yana and some of my regulars were here who are not as hot as I am, hot temperaturely, they would have a blanket on. And maybe I'm going to walk my feet wider and make this a more purposeful windshield wiper to help open the hips and lower back. The longer I sit at a right angle, even if it is around the pool, the more that I'm putting my hips and lower back getting tension. So I want to help release whatever I did yesterday with that tension. Coming back to center, let's fully, widely let the legs fall to the left. Close your eyes and take your mind's eye like a laser pointer to the tightest piece on your body. Notice that piece. What's the tension? Is it muscular tension, or do you think your skeleton is actually prohibiting you from doing this? Maybe even stretch the hands behind you. Maybe grab your hand, lengthen. Oh, lean to the left, and then to the right, and then back to center. Let's take our knees wide to the right and zero in on what's happening down the left side of your body. Lengthen. Oh, feels delicious. And I'm going to arc to the right and arc to the left and back to center. Keeping the arms behind you, let's bring the soles of our feet together. That's using our mental image of our feet, but it's also using proprioception. I'm going to keep the arms behind me, palms turned up. Press the soles of the feet together. Can you almost tickle the pads of your own toes together? Notice that sensation. Our brain is such a magnificent thing that we know what the soles of our feet look like and feel like without having to see it. Our mind's eye comes into play. Maybe you bring your arms a little wider into cactus. And let's take 5 breath rounds here, whichever form you've chosen of this relaxation. Feel the bones pressing into the floor through your skin. Feel gravity like a heavy weighted blanket opening the front of your chest. Maybe it's stretching your abdomen and inner thighs. Inhale 1, pause, exhale. Inhale 2, pause at the top of the breath, and exhale. Inhale 3 to capacity, and exhale. Inhale 4, and exhale. And last time, inhale 5 to capacity, and exhale. Close your legs. Ooh. And then bring your thighs into your chest, releasing those hips and lower back. Little boat or circles. Maybe to come into egg beater, so hands are on each knee. The knees rotate away from each other. And then again, wide and together. Hold the knees wide for a moment, holding the kneecaps, but let gravity gently stretch open the inner thighs and hips. I'm pressing the lower back into the floor. You could flex your feet. Guess what? You're in a variation of squat, but on your back. And just play with the idea of bringing the thighs closer into the side body, maybe walking your hands down your shins. From here, let's come into happy baby or set up for happy baby. So I like to start with my hands behind my knees, adding a bit of counter pressure. Option to come up to your ankles or the blades of your feet. Slowly bring the soles together. Pause here, lower back is pressing into the floor. And then release your feet to the mat once more. We'll come back into that goddess shape that we were in earlier. This time it usually feels a little easier because we visited it before. And close your legs, thighs to chest, little boat or circles. So often in the background of our classes, I use YouTube music mixes. They're great because they continue long without a break really in the music. And I find it most fascinating to search under ambient. And lately, if I pick the study ones, they're 3 and 4 hours long of music kind of flowing into each other. It is really something beautiful to have in the background if you're looking for some new music. Today's experience is more classical, I'm noticing. It usually is gorgeous photography, aerial photography from around the world that's combined with this music. So you don't have to have a streaming service, and it's really nice to have in the background even if you're cooking or reading. Now we're going to take both knees to the floor on the left, double leg spinal twist, right arm open wide. My chest is to the sky, but I'm going to turn and look to the right hand, letting it be heavy and relaxed. And as gravity tries to take the weight of my arm and shoulder down, I want to notice the residual stretching. So today I'm feeling it on my lower back and my right hip. Nice big open chest here. Feels like you're almost breathing into only half of your chest, like the right side now. 2 breaths here. Let your body sink into the floor as this upright side gets to stretch open. Back to center, little boat or circles. Let's take our knees to the right, double leg spinal twist, left shoulder heavy, palm out. Turn your head and let it fall towards the left. So we're getting this diagonal stretch down the lymph nodes, but thyroid, neck, into the chest. Back to center and little boat or circles. Now we'll focus on our right leg. Hands come to right shin or behind the thigh and draw that leg in. Left leg drops to the floor and slowly slides straight. Your choice how intense this stretch is. I love it, so I'm going to pull the thigh in. I'm going to point the left toes away. And experiment between flexed and pointed. Left hand takes right knee over, single leg spinal twist. Shoulders are heavy. Arm could extend to a T, that's one variation. You could use your left hand to deepen the twist, that's kind of can be aggressive, so we want to use loving kindness with our body. And then back to center, little boat or circles. Left leg in tight, right leg extends. I'm going to point initially because I love this feeling. Maybe lift your chin to the ceiling, creating that arch in your neck. Option to flex, and notice the different experiences. That's what's amazing about our body. Just by shifting one piece of our body, we're having a different experience from the same pose. Right hand takes left knee over, single leg spinal twist. Oh yeah. Left shoulder's going to stay grounded. I want this stretch to be diagonal down the body. Back to center, little boat or circles. Let's take our feet in the air for a moment, and we're just going to point and flex, checking in through hamstrings. Give them a little massage. I always think of my hamstrings as the strings of a puppet. Think of a wooden marionette. These important strings kind of in charge of my actual action of my legs, connecting my lower half of my body to my upper half. So So I like to palpate them, give them a massage. Let's let our legs fall wide for a moment. Massage the inner thighs. Point and flex. Roll up the ankles. And let's take the arms to a T here. 5 breaths. If that's too intense, you can support the outside of your legs. I think of this as my hallelujah wide open pose. So palms are open. Inhale 1. Exhale, release everything. Inhale 2 to capacity. Pause. Exhale. Inhale 3. Pause. Exhale. And inhale 4. Pause. Exhale. Last one. Flex or point the feet, make it a little more intentional. Inhale 5. And exhale. Help your legs close. Circles. Let's roll into our left side instead of your right, just something different. Take a few breaths here. And then press yourself upright. We're going to come into our extended child's pose. Wide leg if you want to stretch your hips. Regular if you're fine with that. I'm going to touch my toes together, knees wide. So this is a good thigh stretch if some of you are having quad tightness. Then I can take it further into wide leg extended. And I like to breathe my heart towards the earth, my chest, because that's going to help stretch the upper back as well. And then I want to come upright so we can do our cat-cow. Palms out of the shoulders, knees out of the hips. Make each piece of this bone placement just as important as the next. So here I'm noticing the squareness of my palm pressing into the floor, finger pads. I might even do this in front of the mirror sometimes to make sure that I'm not hyperextending my elbows or collapsing in my hands or my wrists. I'm going to bring bum in the air and look up, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Tail drops, belly engages, push the floor away, chin to chest. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then back to neutral. And step back, high plank. Here we go for Fern and all my friends who love core. Look down at your hands. Maybe power finger or that middle finger's pointing forward. Picking up your head in line with your spine. There's 1 minute. Woo! Coming back to the second minute. Sorry, your face is so itchy today. Thirty more seconds, you guys can do it. Press the floor away. Ooh, I haven't had my breakfast yet. I can feel that energy depleting. No excuse. 5 more seconds. Awesome, go up. Good job.
Knees down, extend a child's pose, or hands behind you, let the shoulders dangle. And then up. Okay. When we talk about planks, it's often prescribed, I'm just going to use that word, as a really beautiful strengthening pose. It's in the gym, it's used by physiotherapists. I joke it's your pose that if I was stranded on an island and I needed a full workout in one pose, the plank is your friend. Some people disagree and they say, oh no, half plank is more strengthening. We use high plank in yoga a lot more. The theory being that my bones are stacked, it's lifting the weight of my pelvis a little better, and there's no tipping in the lower back. The modified version, so high plank is my standard, but that hurts some people's wrists. So you might come into half plank, so the weight is distributed on the forearms. I don't love that one because of what it does to my elbows and my shoulders. So it's interesting how all of us, our live paths have led us to this point, and even down to yoga poses, one of us likes one or the other in our bodies because of our experiences. So let's come into tabletop, step back high plank, press into dog. Let's take a moment, walk your dog in just a little bit more so you might possibly be able to drop your heels. And sometimes I come up on my high heels, press down to my full heels, lift your toes. High heels, heels drop, lift your toes, push the floor away. This is super intense on my hamstrings. Not everyone's going to want to do this. Option would be to pedal like we normally do. And then we're going to walk forward, and I forgot we need to quickly do our sun salutations. So I'm going to let my head go for a moment. Arc to the side, rise. Reach up, maybe like arc a little behind you. Oh, back to the sky, reach up. Arc to the left, back to the sky, reach up, and arc to the right. Wide arm swan dive. Half back, fold, plant, lower down, one breath, sleeping cobra. Pick up your head, baby cobra. Press back, downward dog. Pedal that dog again, your choice how much the heel comes to the floor. Right foot forward, left knee back, low lunge. Or tuck and rise, hands release, feet together, fold, rise, heart center. And I'm going to do it a little more invigorating today because I got to get my blood flow going. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Half back, fold, plant, lower. Sleeping cobra, pick up your head, baby cobra. Press back, downward dog. Pedaling the dog once more. Left foot forward, right knee back. Low lunge. Option to tuck and rise. Press into that front left foot. Hands release. Feet together. Fold. Rise. Heart center. Keep going. Inhaling up. Exhale, fold. Half back. Fold. Plant. Maybe I'll come into chaturanga. High plank. And slowly lower. One breath, sleeping cobra. Pick up your head, baby cobra, or up dog. Rolling over the toes into down dog. Right foot forward, left foot back. Rise, pressing that front foot, high lunge. Hands release. Feet together, fold. Rise, heart center. Just keep going. Last side. Good job. Inhaling up. Exhale, fold. Half back. Fold. Plant. Lower down. Sleeping cobra, one breath. Continue with sleeping cobra or baby cobra or up dog. Down dog. Left foot forward. Right foot back. My heel is up. There's a theory that the sole of your foot should be perpendicular to the floor. Hands release, feet together, fold, rise, heart center. So, we're going to be working with our shoulders today. I'm going to demonstrate with blocks. If I don't have blocks, you're doing the exact same experience A lot of us are tight, so we don't even really need blocks. First stretch I want to do is to open up the heart and the shoulders. And take my hands into prayer hand on the blocks. Wrist creases in line with the blocks, pressing the palms together. And I'm going to press back, forehead to the floor between my arms. If this is not available to you, and you don't have blocks, same pose. Prayer hands, almost in a half plank. Press your bum back. Forehead to the mat. Woo-hoo. And to me, this seems like a similar version of extended child's pose. The only difference is I would extend my arms out, forehead to the floor, chest pushes towards my thighs, press the palm down, and then come back up. Our next pose, my favorite, dolphin. Most of you have done it with me with a block. So forearms are into Sphinx. Palms are on the floor, pointer fingers pressing into the side of this block, thumb on the bottom. This is to keep that alignment. However, say I don't have a block, I can do the same thing. You will have heard me call this railway track arms. Palms pressed down. So, my first version is I'm just going to come forward and back. This is checking out my shoulder mobility. Oh, so my butt's way in the air. This is one variation. Some people might step in half plank and do forward and back. I'm staying on my tippy toes. So I'm moving forward and back without hiking my bum up. And the final version of dolphin, and my favorite, arms into Sphinx, tuck your toes, lift your knees. You might start with your knees up a couple inches off the mat. You might make them higher. You might walk your bum in, short downward dog. If your neck is uncomfortable, you're looking between your ankles or looking slightly forward. I don't love that. And guess what this next pose would be? That would come into scorpion. That dolphin is effortless for me because I'm hypermobile in my shoulders. I would care to say 90% of my students are actually really tight in their shoulders, usually from their job and how we sleep, that curled in, technology, all of that. So I do recommend you do a dolphin every day. Why not? Why not just do this dolphin? Half knees up, look forward, maybe look to the mat between your elbows, maybe look between your feet and walk in a little. Doesn't have to be very far. Also, I can walk my feet back and still come forward, back, forward, back. So I'm helping, almost like when you try to stretch something in tiny increments to make it accessible to your body. Okay, now we've warmed up our shoulders. Let's do our side plank. So I'm gonna come into tabletop, step back high plank, shift my weight, equal distribution, shoulders over wrists. I'm gonna start with my right arm being my strong standing arm. So look down at your toes. Toes are gonna point to the left. I'm on my right blade and my left arch. And let's stay here for 2 breaths. So I'm gonna pick up my head, inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale. And come back to center, knees down, extend a child's pose. And I want you just to start bringing that blood flow to the wrist and the shoulder, and that happens when we bring the body weight into stack bones, but we haven't made the full pose yet. Tabletop, step back high plank. Feet are gonna pivot to the right, so my left blade and my right arch are on the floor. The feet are in front of each other. I'm gonna shift my weight forward over my wrist. 2 breaths. Inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale, and pivot back to regular high plank, knees down, extended child's pose. Back to tabletop. Let's take it a little further. Step back, left, then right, high plank. Feet pivot to the left. Shift your weight into that right arm. I can tell immediately that my bones are not happy here, so I'm gonna step that left foot in front of my hip, left arm to the sky. So this is modified side plank. I fell on this wrist in the winter, and I still can feel bruising in the bone. Cannot believe it's that long. This is from January. And I come back down, pivot, knees down, extended child's pose. Other side. Tabletop, step back high plank. Feet pivot to the right. Shift so that the left shoulder's over the left wrist. Right foot bends in front of the leg. I'm still on my left blade. Right arm in the sky. Let's take 2 breaths here. Inhale 1. Exhale. You can also put your hand on your hip if this isn't open to you. Inhale 2. Exhale. Hand down. Back to high plank. Knees down. And maybe you're going to do puppy or extended child's pose. And upright. Okay. Last variation is full side plank. I did see this on my feed this past week. All these people doing some crazy core poses using side plank as the basis. What I don't like is that's a lot of effort into the bones and very tiny bones. I know wrist bones seem to have taken the brunt of whatever career you had before coming to this class. I hear about carpal tunnel syndrome so often in so many industries. So I want to be really careful with this wrist. I don't believe caveman was meant to do such fine, tiny motor skills that we have done through technology. So I'm going to come back to tabletop, step back high plank, feet pivot to the left, shifting my weight so I'm in this version, modified or stacked. I look at my arches are together. I'm going to stay here for 2 breaths. Inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale. Pick up your head in line with your spine. Hands down, knees down, child's pose. And back up. So I'm just going to turn around so I can see you doing my other side. Most of us have a side we love more than the other. I just did my non-dominant side and it felt much more solid to me. Whenever I do my dominant side, this is where I feel precarious and tippy. I'm going to come into tabletop, line up those bones under the wrists and shoulders, step back high plank, pivot my feet to the right, shifting, making sure left shoulder's over left wrist. I'm either coming modified, in front, oh here we go, or stacked. Inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale, hands down, knees down. Extended child's pose. And just for those of you who love muscular effort, why don't we do the last variation, so either hand to toe or tree pose from a side plank, and you will have a choice which one you want to do. You need to have a really good sense of humor with yourself, and that's what I really miss about you guys, is we would have a really good laugh about our bodies and how in our mind we want to accomplish something, but sometimes the physiology doesn't go along for the ride. That's okay. And that's where someday you do have to go to a very serious, fancy Lululemon hot yoga class and see how the sense of humor is left at the door, which is too bad. Okay, tabletop. Step back high plank. Let's pivot my feet to the left, shifting my weight into the right arm. I'm going to choose tree pose variation. I don't want to put a lot of effort into that right knee. Option to come into, I'm not even going to do side plank with hand to toe. This is my version. Inhale 1, exhale. Inhale 2, exhale, hands down, knees down, extended child's pose. So tight. Okay, wish me luck. Last side, much harder for me. And I wonder if this pose will be more successful later on in the day, not first thing in the morning. When I tape this show, usually it's 8 in the morning, and it takes over an hour for it to technologically upload. So my coffee hasn't kicked in, and so you're getting a funnier experience of me. So, tabletop, step back high plank, Pivoting feet to the right. Arms stacked. So I'm doing tree pose. I'm gonna open my chest and my knees. Inhale 1. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Hands down. Knees down. Extended child's pose. And then back up. So I don't spend a lot of time on those poses because a lot of people struggle with wrist issues. And hey, if after a really long full life your wrists are the only thing that's really plaguing you, hallelujah, good for you. Let's see what today's reading is. If you're on Instagram, I do subscribe to Hay House. That's the publisher of these cards that I love. And today they read out one that we've used before. Oh. No, I think we've done that before. Okay, well, this one's very simple but sweet. I am love. And when you think about it, I think it's safe to say most of us are a product of love, of our parents' love, and that relationship manifested as us as a child. Hopefully that was your childhood. Be the presence of love. Let the spirit of love flow through you. And even Martin Luther King, all the great previous leaders would often preach basically on how if we did all acts in love, whether it was picking our flowers and not with aggression, whether it was preparing the food for the people we love, if we did everything with love, that's mindfulness. Thank you so much for your effort. I do miss you all and I do love you and I miss our community. The good in me sees the good in you. Namaste.